Welcome back to Kunzy Podcast English, where every story doesn't just teach you English, it helps you understand life on a deeper level. Part 1. English is the main language of international communication. English has become the heartbeat of global communication. In a world that grows smaller every day thanks to technology and interconnectedness, the ability to speak English isn't just a skill. It's a powerful bridge that connects people, ideas, and opportunities across oceans and continents. It's not just a language, it's a passport to the global stage. Think about it. Whether you're walking through the buzzing streets of New York, sitting in a cafe in Paris, joining a startup pitch in Singapore, or traveling through remote areas of Africa, English is likely the common ground. It's the thread that links travelers, entrepreneurs, artists, scientists, and dreamers alike. It's the code that unlocks collaboration between countries, the foundation of diplomacy, the voice of global news, and the language of innovation. When you learn English, you're not just memorizing vocabulary or mastering grammar. You're gaining access to more than 1.5 billion people worldwide who can speak or understand the language. That means more conversations, more friendships, and more shared dreams. You're inviting the world to your doorstep, and at the same time, you're stepping out into the world with confidence. English allows you to sit at the same table with people from different nations and engage in conversations that matter. Conversations that move businesses, advance science, and change lives. Imagine being part of an international conference where leaders from various corners of the globe come together. What connects them? English. Imagine watching a TED Talk that shifts your mindset, reading a research paper that ignites your curiosity, or listening to a podcast that sparks a new goal, all delivered in English. But this goes beyond practical use. English carries the culture of possibility. It's the language of some of the world's greatest stories, songs, and speeches. It's the voice of hope in global movements, and the medium for dreams that transcend borders. From Shakespeare to Taylor Swift, from Steve Jobs' iconic speeches to the United Nations mission statements, English gives shape to thoughts that shape the world. What's truly inspiring is how English equalizes. Whether you're from a small village or a big city, once you've mastered English, you can sit at the same table as anyone else on the planet. You can write an email to a CEO, share your vision with a global audience, or create content that touches lives in countries you've never even visited. It gives your voice a global microphone. Learning English is not always easy. There are moments of frustration, grammar rules that seem to bend without warning, and pronunciations that challenge your tongue. But every step forward is a step into a bigger world. Every phrase you master becomes a tool to build bridges, break barriers, and broaden your life. So when people say English is a global language, it's not just a cliché. It's a calling, a call to connect, to grow, to participate in a larger conversation that spans time zones and cultures. When you embrace English, you're not just learning a new way to speak. You're learning a new way to live, with more courage, more curiosity, and more connection. And the best part? Anyone can do it. Whether you're a student, a professional, a traveler, or a dreamer, you have the power to tap into this global force. You just have to begin. And once you do, the world starts to open in the most unexpected and beautiful ways. Let English be your compass, your vehicle, your voice. Because when you speak English, the world doesn't feel so far away anymore. It feels like home. Part 2. Open the door to better jobs in today's world. English is no longer just a subject in school or an additional skill. It has become a universal key, a master key that unlocks doors to a broader, more diverse, and more exciting professional world. Imagine standing in front of countless doors, each representing a global company, a high-paying job, an international project, or an interview with a foreign employer, and being able to walk through any of them, all because of one thing: your ability to communicate in English. It's no coincidence that most top companies, especially multinational corporations, require strong English skills. It's not just about working with international partners. They want people who think globally, who learn quickly, and who can communicate effectively with teams from all over the world. When you know English, you are no longer confined by the borders of your country or a narrow career path. You are free to sail into the open seas, competing head-to-head with the best talent worldwide. Did you know? With strong English skills, you can apply for foreign companies right from your home country without ever needing to go abroad. You could work for Google, Microsoft, Amazon, or fast-growing startups in Singapore, Thailand, or Indonesia because remote work is the norm now. In remote work, the first thing they assess is not your diploma, but your ability to communicate and collaborate effectively. And English is the absolute requirement. English opens the door to higher-paying jobs. Just look at the salary comparison for the same roles: marketing specialists, customer service representatives, developers, designers. Those with strong English can earn 1.5 to 2 times more than those who can't speak it. Why? Because you're no longer limited to Vietnamese clients. You can process orders from Europe, consult customers in the U.S., and support partners in Australia. Someone who can work across time zones and cultures. That person is a valuable asset to any organization. And the best part is you don't need a fancy degree to prove your value. You only need to demonstrate your real ability. One interview, a well-written email, or a clear, structured English CV is enough to impress employers. Language is no longer a barrier that shuts you out. On the contrary, it's your gateway to walk right in. Not only does English offer job opportunities in your home country, it opens doors abroad. Studying, immigrating, or working in countries like Canada, Australia, the UK, or the U.S. becomes far more attainable when you speak English fluently. And once you're there, English is not just for survival. It's your bridge to integration, learning, and thriving in a completely new environment. People with strong English skills tend to be more confident, more adaptable, and are often recognized and respected more by their peers and supervisors. You could also become a freelancer, a career path that's growing rapidly. Platforms like Upwork, Freelancer, and Fiverr all operate in English. And when you can write service descriptions, negotiate with clients, quote prices, and deliver projects in English, you unlock a global customer base without limits. Skilled English-speaking freelancers often earn 3 to 5 times more than their non-English-speaking peers, because of the sheer scale and value of the market they tap into. Even more than that, learning English trains you to think professionally. English teaches you logic, clarity, and discipline in the way you speak, write, and present. When you send an email in English, you learn to be concise, clear, and get straight to the point, skills that are essential in the workplace. When you join meetings, give presentations, or simply chat with international clients, English helps you come across as confident, polished, and capable of leadership. Many people believe that good jobs come from connections or luck. But in truth, English is the real connection. Because when you have English, you can build relationships with foreigners and create your own luck by accessing rare opportunities that others miss. Many people start as regular employees, but thanks to English they become team leaders, regional managers, or get invited to work at headquarters abroad. Not because they're smarter, but because they can communicate, collaborate, and showcase their skills in English. English also helps you stay up to date with your field. The newest courses, industry documents, and cutting-edge research are published in English first. If you wait for translations, you're already months, if not years, behind. But if you read and understand English, you learn faster, prepare earlier, and advance your career more quickly. And finally, there's something no one talks about enough: English helps you reshape your self-image. When you speak English fluently, you naturally feel more confident. You tend to dress more professionally, conduct yourself more purposefully, because you know you're playing at a higher level. And this change affects how others perceive you. They trust you more. They give you more responsibility. And that's when you truly step into a world of amazing career opportunities. So if you're wondering whether English is worth learning, remember this. English is the first and most powerful key to a better career. It's not just about money. It's about the environment, the growth, the chance to become your best self and live a wider, more fulfilling life. Even if you're starting from zero, even if you've been afraid to speak, even if you've quit before, it's okay. Choosing to begin again today means you're one step closer to your dream job. Every word you learn is a brick laid toward your future. Every phrase you practice is another door creaking open. And every time you don't give up, you're telling the world, I deserve a better career, and I'll use English to get there. Part 3. Access to books, documents, and science in English. Imagine standing at the edge of an enormous library, one that stretches beyond the horizon. Inside, shelves tower like skyscrapers, filled with books that hold the greatest ideas ever conceived, the most groundbreaking discoveries, the deepest philosophies, and the keys to the future. This library is real. It exists, but there's a catch. The majority of its treasures are written in English. That's the silent truth most people don't realize at first. English isn't just a language. It's the access code, the master key. If you know it, you can unlock worlds that remain invisible to those who don't. Let's begin with the realm of knowledge, books, academic research, and scientific breakthroughs. Over 80% of all scholarly journals are published in English. Whether it's medicine, technology, psychology, or business, the cutting-edge conversations are happening in English. And if you're not part of that conversation, you're missing more than just words. You're missing the pulse of progress. Imagine being a student or a professional in any country passionate about your field, say neuroscience. You want to understand how the brain works, how new treatments are developed, how behavior is influenced by neurons firing across synapses. The most detailed research, published in English. The Nobel-winning discoveries, described in English. The groundbreaking TED Talks, the Stanford lectures on YouTube, the MIT Open courses, all in English. Now think about the time you wasted waiting for a translated version, if it ever comes. Or worse, relying on summaries that cut down the richness of the original. You're not getting the full picture. You're peeking through a keyhole when you could be opening the door. When I first started learning English, I was amazed by how quickly my world expanded. I didn't have to wait for translated books anymore. I could read the newest publications the moment they were released. Suddenly, I wasn't just learning, I was learning from the best. I was reading from minds that shaped industries, healed diseases, and transformed education. It wasn't just textbooks either. It was the documents that matter in real life, the user manuals, the official reports, the global research studies that organizations like the WHO, the UN, and the World Bank publish in English first. These aren't just papers. They're blueprints for how the world works, how it evolves. And without English, those blueprints stay locked away. Science, more than any other field, thrives on collaboration. And that collaboration happens across borders, across time zones. And in one shared language, English. It's the glue that holds together international research teams, the medium through which scientists debate, challenge, and refine ideas. Without it, you're not just behind the curve, you're outside the room where the curve is being drawn. But the magic of accessing knowledge in English isn't limited to scientists or students. Think of the curious minds, the lifelong learners, the dreamers who want to understand the universe better. English opens the gate to philosophy by Bertrand Russell, psychology by Carl Jung, history by Yuval Noah Harari, and motivation by people like Simon Sinek and Brené Brown. What does this mean for you? It means that by learning English, you're giving yourself a gift that keeps on giving. You're saying yes to lifelong learning. You're stepping into a world where information is free-flowing, where curiosity is rewarded, where your potential is no longer limited by language barriers. You're not just learning a language, you're acquiring a lens that lets you view the world through the eyes of inventors, entrepreneurs, thinkers, and visionaries. A lens that shows you the connections between ideas, between cultures, between the past and the future. This is why people who know English often accelerate faster in their careers, not only because they can communicate better, but because they learn faster. They learn deeper. They understand more than just the surface. They go to the source. And that, my friend, changes everything. And let's not forget the digital world. The internet is our collective brain, and more than half of it speaks English. Every second, new articles are published, new ideas are shared, new discoveries are tweeted, posted, recorded, and overwhelmingly it's in English. If you're not fluent, you're cut off from the stream. You're holding a bucket while the rest of the world drinks from a river. But you don't have to stay on the outside. With every word you learn, every page you read, every video you watch in English, you are climbing higher and higher in that infinite library. You are gaining access not just to information but to transformation, because knowledge isn't power until it becomes part of you, and language is the bridge to make that happen. So when you feel tired, when you wonder if the effort of learning English is worth it, remember this. You are not just memorizing vocabulary. You are reaching for the wisdom of the ages. You are putting yourself in direct contact with the world's most powerful ideas. You are learning how to think bigger, how to dream of a bolder, how to live smarter, and most importantly, how to connect with minds from the past, with leaders of today, and with the future you're about to create. Let English be the key. Open the library. Step inside. The world is waiting. Part 4. Understand and connect with cultures around the world. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine being able to sit at a dinner table in Italy, laugh with friends at a pub in London, explore temples in Thailand, or celebrate a festival in Brazil, and not feel like a stranger. Imagine not just visiting but truly belonging, even if just for a moment, in each place. What connects all these experiences? The bridge that allows you to move from observer to participant, from outsider to insider, is language. And in today's world, that bridge is English. English is not just the global language of business or education. It is also the passport to human connection. It opens the doors to cultural understanding, to empathy, to deep, authentic relationships with people from all walks of life. It's the thread that ties millions of people across continents who may have never shared a border, but now can share a story. In a world growing more connected every day, understanding other cultures is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity. And English, more than any other language, gives you the tools to connect, to understand, to empathize, and to grow beyond the borders of your birthplace. Let's begin with the heart of culture. It's people. Every culture carries its own unique rhythm. The way people laugh, the way they tell stories, the way they express pain, love, hope. And when you speak a shared language, even if it's not their native one, you create a bridge, a moment of, you understand me, and there is no greater connection than being understood. English makes this bridge possible in more places than any other language. Whether you are in Tokyo or Cape Town, Buenos Aires or Amsterdam, English is the default second language that connects travelers, professionals, creators, and communities. It is the common ground where cultures meet. Imagine you're at an international conference with people from 20 countries. You don't speak Arabic, Russian, or Japanese, but you all speak English. That's not just convenient, it's powerful. It means you can share ideas with a designer from Sweden, debate theories with a professor from India, or laugh over coffee with a filmmaker from South Korea. You are no longer limited to your own cultural bubble. You're free to explore the richness of global perspectives. And it doesn't stop with conversation. Language gives you access to stories. And stories are the heartbeat of every culture. When you understand English, suddenly you can watch British dramas, Australian documentaries, American stand-up comedy, or Nigerian films. Not just with subtitles but with depth. You start to catch the rhythm of their humor, the nuance in their tone, the layers beneath their expressions. And these stories do something magical. They make the world feel smaller and your heart feel bigger. You begin to feel what others feel. You understand why someone might cry at a cricket match in India. Why freedom songs in South Africa give people goosebumps. Why Christmas in snowy England feels so different from Christmas in sunny Australia. You don't just know these facts. You live them through language. Let's talk about empathy. The world needs it now more than ever. We live in a time where it's easy to judge, easy to fear what we don't understand. But when you speak English, you open yourself to a wider world of news, literature, and real human experiences. You read personal essays from refugees, watch YouTube vlogs of people in war zones, listen to podcasts from LGBTQ+ communities across continents. You hear the truth in their voices, and it changes you, because understanding breaks prejudice, connection breaks stereotypes, and language breaks silence. And now, with English, your reach multiplies. You can be in Vietnam and understand the struggles of a single mom in Canada. You can be in Peru and relate to the joy of a teenager in Ghana learning to code. You can be in Poland and feel the heartbreak of an activist in Hong Kong. You don't need borders to travel anymore. Just words. That's the secret. English gives you a new passport, not one that takes you across airports, but one that takes you across souls. Let's take a moment to appreciate the depth of this connection. Think about music. When you understand English, every lyric has weight. You hear Beyoncé not just as a melody, but as a message of empowerment. You understand Bob Dylan not just as poetry, but as protest. You feel the pain in Adele's heartbreak songs, the hope in Coldplay's anthems, the unity in John Lennon's dreams. You sing along. And it's not just sound, it's shared emotion. Or consider travel. You don't just ask for directions. You share laughs with locals. You don't just take photos. You listen to stories behind them. You don't just see culture. You become part of it. English turns your journey into a human experience, not just a tourist one. Now, some might say, but why not learn the local language of each country? And yes, that's beautiful too. But practically speaking, it's impossible to learn 50 languages. English offers you the one key that opens many doors. It's the meeting point, the neutral ground, the starting line from where deeper cultural exchange can begin. And if you're someone who wants to work in international NGOs, become a diplomat, an artist, a storyteller, a global citizen, English is no longer optional. It is essential, because every global movement, whether it's climate change, human rights, gender equality, needs voices that can speak to the world. And the world listens in English. But perhaps the most beautiful thing about learning English is that in the process of connecting with others, you also rediscover yourself. You start to question your own culture with more curiosity. You begin to see your traditions not as the only way, but as one way among many. You appreciate your heritage more deeply, and you respect others with more grace. You become not just bilingual but bicultural. You grow roots and wings. So when you study English, you're not just gaining a skill. You're gaining a passport to the world's hearts. You're gaining entry to thousands of living rooms, stages, stories, and souls. You're becoming part of a global conversation. One that is more necessary, more urgent, and more beautiful than ever before. Let English be the language that connects you to the laughter of a friend in Nigeria, the wisdom of a teacher in Canada, the inspiration of an artist in New Zealand. Let it be your window, your bridge, your invitation to the infinite world outside your hometown. You don't need to cross borders to travel far. All you need is the courage to learn and the willingness to connect. In English, it's your first step. Part 5. Learning English helps you think flexibly and broaden your worldview. There are moments in life when you suddenly realize the world isn't small, but your thinking can be. And sometimes all it takes is a new language, a new word, a new way of seeing things, for the universe inside your mind to expand just a little more. For many people, English is the key that opens that very door. The door that leads to a world of flexible thinking, multidimensional perspectives, and a deeper, more mature understanding of life. Have you ever wondered, why does learning a language change the way we think? The truth is, language is not merely a communication tool. Each language is a system of thought, a way a culture sees the world, a map of feelings and ideas shared by millions of people. When you learn English, not just vocabulary or grammar, you are accessing a whole new way of perceiving reality, one that is different from your native tongue. In Vietnamese, for example, you might say, "Toi cảm thấy buồn," I feel sad, placing yourself at the center of the emotion. But in English, people often say, "I feel like," expressing emotions as temporary states like passing clouds. This subtle shift reflects a more flexible, open attitude toward feelings. Less permanent, less absolute. As you grow familiar with structures like "what if," "maybe," or "it depends," your mind gradually trains itself to be less rigid. You begin to embrace possibilities, alternative viewpoints, multiple outcomes, and from there you become more adaptable, not just in speech but in life. English teaches you to embrace imperfection. While many languages value structure and precision, English is flexible, relaxed, and full of creativity. You can speak with mistakes, use strange phrases, and still be understood, as long as your message is clear. So learning English is also learning to let go of perfectionism, to dare to speak, to try, to fail, and to try again. But here's the most magical part. English doesn't just change how you think. It changes what you think about. When you can read books like Sapiens, Atomic Habits, or Thinking Fast and Slow in English, you're not just accessing knowledge, you're engaging with world-changing ideas. You understand why Western education emphasizes critical thinking, why children are taught to question rather than memorize. You begin to compare, not to judge, but to understand yourself better and find your place in the world. English broadens your worldview by bringing you into global conversations. You start listening to international podcasts, watching TED Talks, reading articles from the New York Times to The Guardian. Each day, you're exposed to stories outside your comfort zone of local media. You hear opinions from people you've never met, living in places you've never been. And little by little you step outside your national shell and realize you are part of humanity. Someone who knows English doesn't just have another skill. They have another inner world, one that's multilingual, multicultural, rich in nuance and wide open. You could be a small-town student, a new graduate, a busy mom, or a retired grandparent. It doesn't matter. What matters is that when you learn English, you're sending yourself a powerful message. I'm not done growing. I still want to learn. I want to understand life, understand others, and understand myself. Then something beautiful happens. You begin to notice a change in yourself. More patience, more empathy, less judgment. Why? Because learning English requires you to listen, to respect differences, to start over humbly. These qualities, once practiced enough, seep into your everyday life, and you become a better version of yourself. English teaches you to stay curious. Every new word is a door. Every paragraph is a journey. Every conversation is a small miracle. When you know English, you can call a friend in Africa, apply for a global job, or simply watch a movie without subtitles. These things, though small, hold the power to transform your life. So, if today you're struggling with grammar, if you're discouraged by how long it takes to memorize vocabulary, remember this: you are doing something far greater than learning a language. You are shaping a flexible mind, an open heart, and a grounded worldview. Keep going. Make mistakes and fix them. Stumble, then grow stronger, because every effort you make today, no matter how small, is building the future version of you. More confident, more insightful, and more extraordinary than ever. English doesn't just teach you how to speak to the world. It teaches you how to understand and appreciate yourself within it. Thank you for listening. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel to receive notifications of the next videos.